With any glide removal, I recommend you heat it up. Put a heat gun on there on high, and yeah, you can touch it. It would take forever to melt it. Be safe. Wear gloves if you feel so inclined. Or keep your hands away. And I find about 3 minutes of back and forth is sufficient to get it warm enough to where you can use a flathead, a putty knife, or a wide chisel, kind of peel it off from the front. All right, got her nice and warm. Put a hand there, make sure not to slip. Pry that chisel under there, and it's going to take you a couple times. Get it under, just like pulling a tire off a rim, essentially. You rode a bicycle as a kid, or you still do. Don't be afraid if the glide bends a little bit. It's very resilient. Nice and hot. Get it off, pop her off. Boy, that thing could tell a story or two. So, remember, this wand can be used without a glide. You better. All right, got her nice and warm. Put a hand there, make sure not to slip. Pry that chisel under there, and it's going to take you a couple times. Get it under, just like pulling a tire off a rim, essentially. You rode a bicycle as a kid, or you still do. Don't be afraid if the glide bends a little bit. It's very resilient. Nice and hot. Get it off, pop her off. Boy, that thing could tell a story or two. So remember, this wand can be used without a glide. You better be looking like a 19-year-old Arnold Schwarzenegger to pull that off, because these things do have an incredible amount of suction. If you got a truck mount with a 4.6 or larger blower, it's going to work your shoulder. But that's it. Heat it up, pry it off. Same thing with the new glide. You want to heat it up. You can also boil them in water, but I find that the heat gun is just fine. And if you find yourself taking glides off a lot, see how I put it in the notch? You can just shove her on. So that is an option. You just got to cut that notch so that it contours the back side of the glide, and that way you can change out your glides intermittently at a job without a heat gun or without any fanfare. Cutting into titanium is no easy feat. You're going to need a cutting wheel with a Makita, and I think back in the day we used to use cobalt drill bits to actually achieve that. It was quite the effort to cut into them. We even had a few people sending their wands in, and Jeff would cut them and send them back because they didn't want to risk damaging their wands. Anyhow, there's a few fun tips for you. If you got any questions, contact us again at greenglidesales.com, and check out our site for more helpful tips. And be safe, be well, and be clean.